Good evening and welcome to United Insurance's Line and Length. And tonight we're actually at the Franklyn Stephenson Academy on the West Coast in Barbados. And Franklyn Stephenson tells us what's going on here, and he also weighs in on the World T20. All that and more on tonight's United Insurance's Line and Length.
When you are insured with United Insurance, you know you're in safe hands because our AM Best Excellent rating means that we have the financial strength and stability to protect your prized possessions. Rely on the company that understands your needs for property, motor, business, and marine insurance. For all your general insurance needs, choose United Insurance.
And welcome back to United Insurance's Line and Length, and we are joined by Franklyn Stephenson here at the Franklyn Stephenson Academy. And Franklyn, it's Easter time. What's happening here at the Academy?
Well, among other things, Andrew, we're having a 2-week Easter camp. And we've got quite a few kids in, and they would go through their paces, and then they play pretty much continuous cricket in the afternoon because they've got to get that match feel. And I love camps for that. So, you know, it's all good. We also have some private sessions going. We've got a couple of kids come out of the hotels and they'll come and do private sessions. And it's good too that we've got our kids on hand that we can actually put them through different paces with them as well. So it's all good.
We were here a couple of months ago. What has been happening since then? I know that matches have actually been played here at the under 13 level and under 11 level. What's happening? Have you seen a great interest or greater interest here at the Academy?
Oh, fantastically so. I mean, we have our kids that we pretty much cemented in our programs. We entered our first competition, the under 13 competition, the Inspire Sport. And my young team, I was told actually that I shouldn't be putting a team in for a team's sake because my kids are only young and now starting. They're 9 and 10-year-olds predominantly. And they thought it would have been, you know, unfair with some of these big guys bowling fast. Well, my kids had something new to show, and it's a little bit heartbreaking in a sense that we didn't get to the finals because the two teams that beat us with almost technicalities in a sense, you know, they're the ones that contested the final, and, you know, good luck to Carlton, they won it for the first time, but we didn't lose any heart at all, and we actually came away with, I consider, the #1 prize for kids. And that was the most disciplined team, and they're very happy about that. But our young team of 9s and 10s, the organizer, everybody's watching now to see how these guys are going to do next year, knowing that they're in a program like this, you know, and they look so good, you know, obviously with all the technicalities in the game and their techniques and so on. It was really fantastic.
Well, certainly with Franklyn Stephenson at the helm, discipline would play a major role in any kind of activity, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely. We pride that first and foremost, you know, and the game is a discipline. And, you know, when you spot on the kids' faces on the field and so on, I want them to be ambassadors for the game. And that's the only one that I see. I really see that first and foremost. If you're willing to, you've got to be willing to change something because you're not the finished article when you come to learn the sport. And so that's the first thing. While you're learning that, you're learning the actual disciplines of the game. And I'm sure that it will go a long, long way for a long time. And that's the basics that we require from everybody that comes. You know, it's the dress code, it's the behavioral code. I mean, they've got the little tiffs and fights and so on at times. I try to keep the parents out of them because, you know, you put kids out there and somebody isn't out and somebody grabs the bat. But they'll learn very, very soon, and they're becoming very, very good friends.
And what of the future? Obviously, you're excited at what's happening now. What are some of your plans for the future?
Well, Andrew, I really want to see something like this happening. I believe that we need to really develop for ourselves, and we need to use our education, and we're not using that at the moment because there's a lot of talk about tourism, about community tourism and sports tourism. And we've got to be amazed that we cannot get that even started as far as I see in this island because it can create so many jobs. I mean, right here, right now, I've got, about 7, 8 people help me out, and they're all going to be, you know, it's been quite a while, and they're all happy. Obviously, I'd like to pay them a whole lot more, but, you know, I'm happy. They're happy. And this is where we need to blend our past with what the present is happening now to build our future that's going to last a very long time, and it keeps developing itself. And we have all the basic infrastructure in hand, but to put it together, we are totally lost. And this is what I see for the future of Barbados. It creates employment. The kids have got to eat. We're bringing people in. We've got touring sites coming in. We need to develop this in the communities of Barbados that looks after our longevity, and it brings tourism to the communities and to our sportsmen. Right now we consider that that sports tourism is giving the past players money every month, and that it can't work like that. You got to be making money in order to continue in business, and so that's where the problems come from. I've been asked to go out and show that it can work by putting the facility down rather than not start with 25. I say, but we have the 25 already. We got the young kids, the young coaches that we pay already. We have the celebrities that we pay them as well. So why not put it into a capsule, put it together, and then let it benefit the rest of the community and keep it bringing tourism. I've noticed now that the touring teams are starting to come back. Maybe it's incidental that they have a facility that they can come and practice at, that they respect and play games as well. But right now we've had another 3 counties practice with us this year, and again they're overawed. We had Northants come down, we had Hampshire come down, we've already had Warwickshire and Yorkshire, and now obviously Nottinghamshire have been based here for the last 3 years for their pre-season, and now they inform me that each county has an academy. They used to have a training program, but now they've been cemented into academies for each county, and that's where we should be targeting. That there are a lot of planned trips to South Africa and India and so on, but they all prefer to be in the Caribbean for logistics. It's closer, the weather, the people, the history,
Food, the language,
the lot, and now to have a facility that your kids can actually come and practice away at like all day and play games as well simultaneously. They're respecting that, and so we are going to be linking very soon to see how many we can interest and hopefully put a program in place that involves games and our other kids, similar to the county program, but you're going to have more respectful in the sense because the county guys are just getting ready and they're putting themselves in the showcase for international cricket. So, but the kids, they really produce the contact and the camaraderie, the intimacy that is necessary for the long relationships for the future. And we have a tour planned. We had to cancel. We've postponed our proposed tour for our 2 teams here for August this year. And we're starting to put some plans in place to raise money and awareness and so on. And we've got the contacts, and we're going to be linking with them to see exactly where we're going to be tripping to. And so we're looking to take at least 2 teams up in August next year to England, and that's going to be the start. But we've started our fundraisers and so on, and it's a really good feel.
All right, Frankie, of course, we couldn't leave this conversation without talking about the World T20. The performance by the West Indies reached the semi-finals, outstanding victory over Pakistan to get to the semi-finals, and then disappointment against Sri Lankans, the eventual champions.
Yeah, I think you can blame a lot on the weather in a sense, but it had happened before, and so that it was, you've got to put these things in perspective and plan, just in case these things, plan accordingly. But I think that the West Indies team are never going to be the most technical team out there, batting-wise, but, they were the most exciting team to see how Sammy was finishing the games. It was awesome, but we needed the guys at the top to come to the party, and I think that the captain was a very big part of that. He should have changed that batting order. We had Andre Russell play our 2020 here in the region, and he was phenomenal. He was the finisher, and it was so clinical and easy. He didn't really get going, but I thought that he was wasted down the order. And, you got 20 overs. You got to start from your openers, and you got 9 overs left. There's no way you should be sending your number 3 and number 4 batsmen in there that need that time. You got Russell down there. He should be batting 4 consistently on that side and giving it the jump start. We had 50-over cricket, and the big thing back then was the pinch hitter. 50 overs, you send in a bowler to go and have a swipe at the top. Even if he got going, he was never going to bat too long and then he's still going to put pressure on you. But you got 20 overs to bat, and you got 8 and 9 and 10, 11 overs gone, and you still got all that batting down there waiting to come and bat 4 and 5 balls. Sammy was a specialist coming back 3 overs. But what if you can get going at the top? And that's what you needed. I thought that Samuels at 8 would have been a very good asset down there. At the time when guys are spearing the Yorkers in, he'll be thinking about blocking the ball for a single somewhere where his technique is struggling so badly. And so those are things that we could have really looked at. The batting order, per se. I was very shocked, though, to see that we had those athletes out there and nobody wanted to bowl. I think everybody came up with an injury somewhere.
Yeah, we saw the uncanny situation. Dwayne Bravo, who prides himself on being the finisher in terms of bowling, the captain Darren Sammy, Chris Gill, several players, nobody wanted to put their hand up, and it fell to Russell, which to me was making it extremely difficult for him.
Yeah, you got to walk there with a plan, man. You want some guys that everybody's willing to bowl at almost any time. It's only 20 overs. And even your nailed-on bowlers, they bowl very short spells. So everybody should be ready and ready. The captain decide, you know what? He's on strike now, and I'm going to bring Bravo to come and bowl me an over. And it's going to work like that. But you got to want to bowl. What are you doing away in the nets when you're practicing? You don't practice different things to try to create that difference when the batsman is batting. But I saw guys just... totally, they were shell shocked and they were just happy not to touch that ball, you know, and that's not the way you want it. So,
Frankie, as the supreme all rounder in your day, would you have loved to have been involved in this World T20?
You know, people ask me those. I believe that I live my time, and my time is the right time, and it's all actual what happened at the time, and I've got no regrets at all about anything. But I explained to one guy yesterday. You know, one of the visiting players. I played 45 over cricket in South Africa. That was our one-day competition. And my strike rate was 145 runs per 100 balls.
In a 45
over cricket, not
so
2020.
In 2020, you would be rivaling Darren Sammy then, at 244.
Listen, I consider Darren Sammy, I see him now as a gladiator with a bat in his hand. That was awesome, you know. But that's what got him there in the first place, to even be captain of the West Indies, his belief in himself and duty, you know. And so I'm sure he's even surprised himself. And that's what you want to see from the other players as well, you know. But I know it's a different game these days. You're more dealing with your bank manager than your coach in a sense, you know. So it's a different feel. But I look at these kids, and I've got a whole bunch of kids that love to bowl and love to bat. So in my time, I knew that a few players would like to bat, and then, you know, the bowlers had to come back and bowl. But, you know, we're hoping to raise a new generation now that you can choose anybody out there, and they've all got a talent, a special talent to produce.
That's Franklyn Stephenson, as profound as usual, and we're here at the Franklyn Stephenson Academy, and you're watching United Insurance's Line and Line.
When you are insured with United Insurance, you know what it feels like to feel this safe. Choose the financially strong regional insurance company with the strength and stability to protect your prized possessions. For property, motor, business, and marine insurance, you're in safe hands with United Insurance.
Let's now join Franklyn Stephenson for a special training session.
You got an old ball. If you get back, so you were here, but when you got back, you were up here. That's where the ball, right? So try, when you move, you have to move at one level all the time. You see the pace better. You see the bounce better. Straight air run. Batted. Yeah. Now that was just big-headed, because that was, you weren't near it and you just decided to go after it in a sense. That's where, like, you're in, and then you end up giving you a knock away because it was so wide, and you weren't, but you just like reach out and went after it. You know, if you're not there, just let go. Right, or even come back and punch it. But you want to stay in control all the way through. Don't let the average balls get you out when you're in and set. Good stuff. Great. Love to see that big back face every time the ball is straight. Play. It went away. All right, so yeah, did it move?
Yeah.
Right, but the thing is, though, how many slips has you got? Because when you got here and it moved, and you sort of help it, that will go like second slip, right? So if it can't hit your stumps and it moves, nice. You know, if it's moving at your stumps, you got a little challenge and you got to play it, right? But when his first step in the ball is new, you want to see what he's doing. So to come and steer it, you know, just watch him. First guard the stumps.
Was swinging before.
Right, okay. But it wasn't an attacking shot, so you actually almost defended it into the slip hands. Ball, Shay. Oh, get your foot behind the line though. Right, so check it out, because there's few of those you got actually too close to it where you're now making a Yorker. Right? So time your movement so you can actually get it right where you want it, just half volley. Okay. Shot. Well bowled, Aaron. Keep watching him, Aaron. A little bit more turn, but good stuff. Nice, Stephen. Right, show how you are to those balls. Right, and that's more a thing of like being able to bend the knees, right? If it bounces, you're up, and if it doesn't, you're down, right? But when you come back, you're just taller, and then you're coming down, right? So you get about bent knees and watch the bounce. If it's straightened, then you can stand on it, okay? There we are. He's going to his repertoire. All right, keep going, Stephen. Keep finding that length. All right, you cover it. Looking good. Ball, Shay. So Shay's outswinger was mistaken because I didn't see Costin to be going that way. But I mean, if he's got it, that's fine, right? But he just falls a little bit and he's bowling a good line with it, so that's super. Don't have to play. Right, you know that you can't pitch it now, so you're going to bowl back of a length. You know that the ball is seaming a bit, so you don't have to play. Because when you get here and you're playing, it's bringing all the slips in play, right? So you can't pitch up because you're going to drive him. You can maybe bounce, you know, make him come closer, right? Until you're ready. Oh! That swung in and hit the seam and went away. Nice, Jaden.
When you are insured with United Insurance, you know you're in safe hands because our AM Best Excellent rating means that we have the financial strength and stability to protect your prized possessions. Rely on the company that understands your needs for property, motor, business, and marine insurance. For all your general insurance needs, choose United Insurance.
We are back at the Franklyn Stephenson Cricket Academy, and guess what? Graham Perrin from all the way in the UK, from Hertfordshire, Sandrington Cricket Club, is here for a session. Graham, tell us a bit about it.
Well, we're actually on holiday here, and my son heard about this and just wanted a top of hour session out in the sun, because in England all the training over the last 4 months has been indoors because it's cold in the winter. So the cricket season in England starts for the juniors in about a couple of weeks' time, so it's good to come out in the sunshine.
Well, tell us a bit about what you've discovered here. I mean, how did you find out about the Franklyn Stephenson Cricket Academy, first of all?
It was just through someone at the hotel, actually. The concierge at the hotel mentioned it, so I don't know how she knows about the academy, but obviously Franklyn's presumably a big figure out here in Barbados, and it's only about 10 minutes away from the hotel, so very convenient.
Okay, tell us a bit about what your son has managed to learn in the short session so far as you can see.
Well, it's a slightly different environment. It's much hotter, so that's the biggest challenge, is around concentration. I think 11 years old in the heat, not used to that in England. It's a lot cooler. And the second thing is just getting used to the tracks are slightly different. I suppose our perception is that they're much faster and bouncier, but actually they're probably slightly softer than expected, so he's just got to get used to still getting forward off a reasonably short length, which is the biggest, rather than getting onto the back foot. I think that's the biggest difference, really.
Okay, and he's facing several different type bowlers. Is he coping better with the pacers or with the spinners?
Today, because he did a session yesterday, probably getting used to the spinners, because the spinners do get a lot of top spin here, or seem to, and it bouncing up at this age up to chest high, not used to in England. The spinners don't get so much bounce, but the pace bowlers is probably just getting used to forward to a slightly shorter length than he's probably used to, because indoors in England it's really hard, but then when you go outside in England you never face that. So indoor practice in England can be a bit mixed really. It's more around just hand-eye coordination rather than picking up the length, etc., because it's much bouncier inside than it would be outside in England in April, when it's often slightly damp.
Okay, tell us a bit about Sandrington Cricket Club, founded 1892. Tell us a bit about Sandrington Cricket Club.
Sandridge is a village just outside St Albans, and it's celebrating its 900th anniversary this year. So
did you say 900th?
Yeah, Sandridge is 900 years old, and it's got a big cricket week coming up, which in June, where there's going to be lots of games to celebrate the 900th anniversary of Sandridge Parish being formed just outside St Albans. So it's a big year for the village. The cricket club puts out 2 teams in the Hertfordshire leagues. Both got promoted last year. I'm one of the old men, so playing the second team, but we don't have a youth structure, because there are lots of bigger clubs around us that have huge league structures around us, but we're a good village side.
Any West Indians have ever played with your team at Sandridge?
Yeah, they have done in the past. We had a guy that came over from Jamaica and played probably for about 15 years for us, who's retired now. I'm just trying to think. We've had a couple of players that played for us in the past. More recently, we've had quite a few. We've had a few Indians join us who have been working on top of IT contracts with a big local firm. Have come down.
Okay, and your thoughts now? Obviously, we're going to talk about English cricket, and we're going to talk about Kevin Peterson, obviously, and we're going to talk about the performance or lack thereof of the team in the Ashes and then in the World T20. Your thoughts as a cricket person?
Well, it's difficult to know what goes on inside the team. Hear stories from different people that Peterson's not really a team man, and if you look at all the counties he's played for, he's ended up leaving them because of various disputes, etc. Obviously a very talented player, and it's a shame he's missing from performance angle, but you don't know what the team dynamics. In the past, West Indies have had their own problems with team dynamics and people leaving, etc. So it's difficult from the outside to perceive whether that's a big issue in terms of contributing to England's failure in the Ashes, really. But I think a lot of the players were just out of form, etc. And the fast bowling department was a big issue, really. You got Anderson and Broad, and apart from that, there was no real backup bowlers. And I think Swan, after his operation, was never the same bowler. And with him going, it was a bit like Australia when Shane Warne left. Really, the side fell apart a bit, I think.
Well, what of the future of English cricket? You play, and I imagine as well that you watch quite a bit of English county cricket. Your thoughts on the game at the moment and its future? I
think in the youth area it's very strong. There are lots of young players coming through. If you look at the amount of junior players playing around the country, it's probably looks at a high. I'm not sure how many of those are coming through into the county game. I think it's a bit like what the West Indies experienced. A very good team. When suddenly the players leave, there's a bit of a void, and England hasn't been enough succession planning really around who fills that. I think there are enough players around in the county to come through and fill it, but it may take a year or two for them to
more than a year or two, I think.
Well, maybe 2 or 3 years, but hopefully there are some good players around. Obviously, Hales has done very well in the 2020, and players like that I think will come through and probably perform the test as well as the one-day arena. A bit like Warner in Australia, who was really a one-day player, but is now scoring very well in the test matches.
Okay, that's Graham Perrin. He's here at the Franklyn Stephenson Cricket Academy just off Sandy Lane in Barbados, and you're watching United Insurance's Line and Length. But that's our program for tonight. Join us next week for more on United Insurance's Line and Length.